Hi guys, my name is Kirsty and welcome back to Upside Down Books. Today we are going to be doing a Christmas themed video.
Non più tra I farfalloni amoroso, notte giorno di
So, today we're going to be doing a Christmas themed video, and this is one of my own making. Well, I assume no one else has ever done this, but I wanted to do a Christmas video for you that was giving some sort of Christmas recommendations. However, I don't read a lot of actual books about Christmas, so I was getting inventive in ways I could give you some Christmas recommendations. So what I thought I would do is give you recommendations of books that I think sort of fit into a general Christmas vibe and could be something that you think about, talk about, or actually read this December if you're like me and you don't really read the specific cutesy Christmas books. The challenge that I came up with myself today was to try and basically spell out the word Christmas for you with recommendations. So I've picked out a book for each letter in the word Christmas, and these all are recommendations of books that have a general Christmas vibe for one reason or other that I will explain. And my criteria for picking these, it was a great challenge to select them, was that they had to be books that I had read, and they also had to be books I've rated 5 stars. So these are some high-flying recommendations off my shelf to you that are all my 5-star reads that fit a Christmas theme and make up the acronym. Very exciting times. I am not using the word a or the as disposable. No, they count. They count. So to find a book with the letter I, I'll have you know just I did a good job and I'm pleased with that. But let's not jump ahead. Let's start with book 1. Now, of course, these are going to be varying in genres. They're going to cover every genre that I usually read myself. Also, yes, this is coffee. It's not a cup of tea. It's one of those days, guys. Okay, I'm on the coffee. So the first book. The first book is a YA fantasy. It is queer fiction and obviously begins with the letter C. I read it a few years ago and I definitely think that it fits the Christmas vibe because it is cheerful, it is happy, it is snowy, it's set in a cold country, and it is all about fun and just ridiculousness. And of course that book is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell, and I just think that this is a beautiful book and one that we should all read because honestly so much joy is to be had from this. I myself am yet to continue on this little series, which is the fictional series that the girl in Fangirl is writing, and then Rainbow Rowell went ahead and wrote it herself, and I think that that's so much fun. So yes, this is definitely on the list for letter C because it is a cheerful book that has you giggling about, and I just think it's a really good fit for Christmas when you want to be joyous and reading something lighthearted and fun but with a bit of the fantastical within it. So conversely, on the opposite side of things, I wanted to pick something that was dark and moody and set in a snowy landscape where there were mysterious and dark things going on, but with a redemptive storyline. So this one is a retelling of a classic fairy tale. It is set in the woods, it is snowy, it is all about family, and it is about sacrificing for the ones you love, but it is also about giving people second chances, and is a great and gripping story filled with love and mystery and all of those glorious Scrooge-like plot twists that are very satisfying when an evil or seemingly evil character comes around in the end. And that book is Hunted by Megan Spooner. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I love Megan Spooner, so there is obviously the Beauty and the Beast storyline happening, and this is a brilliant and cozy wintry vibe to read that I definitely think fits the bill for the letter H in our Christmas reading challenge. Should we call it that? I'm going to call it that. If anyone actually does this challenge, I'd be very proud of you, so you have to let me know. The next book, of course, is R. Now, this one I'm going for a more superficial reason. I am going for a book that gives me Christmas vibes simply by its look. The storyline itself perhaps has little to do with Christmas itself, other than having a character with a heart of gold who is trying to do the right thing. But the festivity and the Christmassiness of the cover is what has drawn me to choose this title. And that book is Raybearer by Jordan E. Forwaker. I just think that the red, the golden lines, the green, the darker colours make me think of mulled wine and Christmas Eve dinners, and I just really love this book as well, so I was definitely happy to fit this into the acronym. So this is claiming letter R in my Christmas acronym because It just deserves to be on any list, quite frankly. It's such a good book. The next letter is, of course, the letter I, the one you're probably all going, oh, but what has she chosen? Unless I'm, you know, forgetting of some very Christmassy book that starts with the letter I. There are not many books that start with the letter I, but I consulted my read list and said, well, what have I really enjoyed that begins with this letter? There were not many, but then I realized there was the perfect book to choose because it is cheerful, it's silly, it is appreciating the ridiculousness of every day, it is accepting yourself for who you are, it is a memoir, it is non-fiction, and it is, of course, Is It Just Me by Miranda Hart, her first memoir. This was hilarious, and this is a great book to be reading at Christmas time because it is so funny and embracing, and Miranda just makes you feel like a normal human being filled with lots of failures that are beautiful that you learn from, and just all the little bumbling mistakes we make as human beings. So this is my pick for I on my Christmas reading challenge. For the letter S, I feel like this is possibly one of my most Christmassy vibing books, and this one is a middle grade fiction. It is fantasy. It is about enchanted forests and broken families. It is about learning who you are and uncovering the mysteries of your own identity. It is a retelling of the little known retelling Snow White and Red Rose, and of course that means it is Snow and Rose by Emily Winfield Martin. This is a beautiful middle grade novel in this beautiful hardback and lovely illustrated design on the cover. It is a story about two sisters who find answers to lots of questions that they have when they go adventuring into an enchanted forest, particularly one surrounding their father. Now the book for the letter T that I have chosen is actually going off less of a Christmas vibe as we know it today, and it's more of an origin story of the original tale, shall we call it, that inspired the Christian interpretation of what Christmas means, and it is a book that I deeply, deeply love. It is a feminist retelling inserting a female character into a male-dominant history where all of the women were just about forgotten or no, well, you know, they were playing interesting roles, and this author has created this wonderfully strong, brilliant, and inspiring female character to take the lead in this story and put the man of the hour himself, our saviour, Lord Jesus Christ, to the, you know, the second pedestal. He's no longer the key player in this story. And that, of course, is the Book of Longings by Sue Monk Kidd. This is a retelling of the story of Jesus, shall we call it, and it is imagining if he had a wife and what her story would have been. I love this book. It is absolutely phenomenal. I've not read anything like this. I think this was really ballsy of Sue Monk Kidd to go ahead and do a retelling of the Bible, essentially. It makes me laugh that someone could do it, and could do it so well, and to make the character of Jesus almost seem like a overly work-committed husband, whilst the real work and the real trauma was going on with the women who were trying to support him and support his movements. So I really love this book, and I think it's a brilliant read, and it is certainly a book not just for anyone religious out there. I am not particularly religious myself, but a book that is interesting to put another lens on the stories within the Bible as we know them. The next book, for the letter M, is going even further back, and this list would not be complete if one of my favourite authors was not on it. And I've picked this one because it has no particularly Christmas vibes in itself, but I think that this mythological retelling deserves a spot on the Christmas list because I think that we all at this time of the year like to delve into other worlds that are full of other creatures and serious imaginations and reimaginings of events on Earth, and I think that Mythos by Stephen Fry deserves to be on this list because it is great, and I think it is a good gift-giving book for those with inquisitive minds because it just makes such a good gift and it's such a good read. So I think that December is actually a really great time to be reading mythology because they are fun, adventurous stories that make you think of times long, long gone by. We're getting close to the end now, and so the next book I want to talk about is the book that makes up for the letter A, and this was surprisingly hard to pick. Now, the reason that I picked this book for the letter A is because I think it embodies the Christmas spirit of persevering through hard times and finding success and love in friendships and having a beautiful story that has a really poignant tale and really touches you when you read it. And that is 1,000 Perfect Notes by C.G. Drews, possibly a figure that we are familiar with as one of our fellow book bloggers and bookstagrammers. The name behind the handle, Paper Fury, wrote this book and it is stunning. Both of her books are wonderful. And I in particular think this one deserves to be within my Christmas acronym because, as I've said, the themes in this book are really fitting. The goodwill themes surrounding Christmas. And that brings us to the end of the word Christmas, which means we are going with another S, and this time I have picked a book that is unlike anything else. It is set long ago. It has trans rep in it, and it tackles the issues of an invading group of people challenging the theology of another group by imposing their own religion. So it deals with the religious themes that go hand in hand with Christmas time, but it is set way back when, and it is primarily about the difficulties of a family who are losing their identity and their ability to relate with each other. And that is Sister Song by Lucy Holland, a truly brilliant piece of fiction that I think everyone will enjoy, and it certainly deserves to claim the last spot in my Christmas reading challenge acronym because it is so fitting with, I think, the struggles that are associated with fitting in family time and seeing different family and families that are split and families that don't quite know what they believe in anymore. It is all that sort of chaotic vibe wrapped up in a nice hug at the end that I think this book is representing. So these are all the books, plus the two that I have not got physical copies of, that I have decided making up my Christmas acronym reading challenge. All the books that I think have a real Christmas tone to them in one way or another. So let me know in the comments down below what you think, if you thought this was fun, if you've read any of these books, or if you are planning to, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.
Alla gloria militar